Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Knitting Page channel. If you're new here, my name's Paige and I'm the face behind the Knitting Page. So today I have my fall knitting plans for 2024. This is a video I am excited to make. It's a video that's been on my mind for forever because I kept hemming and hawing over what I was actually going to sit down and make, what I want to prioritize, kind of do the summer projects I want to finish count as my fall projects. Anyways, I finally settled on what I want to make. I have 7 projects. I have a mix of some long-standing whips, some kind of long-standing whips, some new cast-ons, some garments, some accessories, and I'm just trying to be really realistic with myself of what I actually think I can finish this fall as I begin my new career in a new province, at a new school, teaching new curriculum. There's a lot of new going on in my life, and I want to prioritize knitting. I want to be realistic with myself, and this is the most realistic plans video I think I have ever created. So we'll do a little reflection at the end of the fall and see what I actually did or did not finish, but I am going to get right to it. So I created this lovely little color mood board because I was kind of picking projects here and there, thinking of projects that I wanted, like a minds on thinky heavy project, and so I have a beautiful cabled cardigan that I want to knit, but then I also wanted something that was the complete opposite of that, and so I have a mindless stockinette project that I want to knit, and then I have these older whips that I want to finish, and so I'm working with a color story that I've already created, and I really don't want to buy any new yarn because I have a lot of stash and I want to knit it down. I want fewer things in my house, and so it means I know the yarn will still exist, but it'll exist in a more usable form, and I can get rid of clothes. I feel like a lot more easy than I can just get rid of yarn because I know I want to knit these pieces, and I've had some like projects in mind. And anyways, I'm really happy with the 7 projects that I've picked out. I think there's some different techniques and things that like have been catching my eye that I'm doing at a sustainable level, and so I'm excited to see what this fall has in store. Some of the projects that I have are already started. Some of them are long-standing whips, and so I do have 7, which is still a decent amount, but 4 out of the 7 have a somewhat decent chunk of the project already done. And so it's not like they're almost like finished, but they are a week or so's worth of knitting into it. And so I just think it'll be a bit of a nice way to finish up some long-standing whips, but also allowing myself to cast on some new projects with some stash yarn I've been wanting to work with. I'm trying to knit from a few of the project books that I have because I've purchased them and I like the patterns in them and I have yarn that works. And so it's finding yarn and colors and projects that all fit together so that I can have this fall that feels really purposeful and kind of honors like my past purchases. So as you see in this mood board, I have some grays, some purple, some pink, some red, some fuchsia, like that fuchsia pinky raspberry color. I have like a sagey green, I have some cool blues, and I have like a brown. And so it's kind of all over the place, but I did like that creating this mood board did kind of make it feel more cohesive. And although I don't necessarily think that they'll make for like, or they definitely don't make for like a monochrome, beautiful, picturesque plan, I think that there's going to be a lot of utility out of all of these projects. So I am going to get into it. The first project that I want to knit, this is the Eva cardigan. And this is a project that I cast on last year around this time, and then I sat on one of my needles and it broke, and I didn't buy new needles until the spring, summer-ish time, and I haven't bothered reading my stitches to find out where I am in the pattern, and so it's kind of sat at this stage. But one of my plans is to read my stitches to find out where I'm at so that I can continue to work on this, because I do have a decent chunk of the yoke done, and I know that once I split for sleeves and I'm working on the body, it'll just be some nice mindless stockinette to do while I watch TV or watch a podcast or sports or just hang out with some friends. And so I do want a mindless stockinette project, and I liked I like having a back and forth project that's mindless, as well as sometimes I really just want in the round stockinette where I don't have to think at all. And so I do have one of those projects coming up next. This cardigan is knitted in the yarn Crea Deluxe Organic Wool 2. This was a yarn that I purchased from the Knitting Loft during like a summer sale last year. I purchased a lot of balls so that I would have enough yarn to finish or to make like a decent sized garment, because sometimes I'll buy like a lower quantity of yarn and then I wind up not being able to make something oversized or baggy or to full length, and I really don't like playing yarn chicken, and so there may be a ball or two extra, but this is like the first project that I am going to be knitting. Well, I don't know if it'll actually be the first one that I finish, but it's the first one I'm talking about right now. And I guess throughout you'll see I have a mix of Petite knit, Sari, Nordlund, and some Sandnes Garn for my plans this fall. And it's not like I intentionally picked those designers. Some of them are just patterns that I've had in my mind for a while, things I've already started. And like I mentioned before, I am trying to work through some of the patterns in the books that I've purchased because I already have them in something like a basic raglan. It's like, okay, do I already have a pattern that I could use to knit that? Yes. Okay, let's do it. Let's see if gauge works. Let's see if the fabric is something I like. And so you'll see that in the next one, which is this beautiful purpley yarn. And so as you can see in the mood board, there's that purpley water square. And this is going to be the Frankie genser by Sandnes Garn. This yarn I also purchased from the Knitting Loft. It's in their, I think, cash sock base or their cashmere sock base. It's in their La Di Da base, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's in the colorway Forget Me Not. And I'm holding it with Knitting for Olive silk mohair in the colorway Unicorn Purple, I believe. And the two of these together, I did knit up a swatch, but it is kind of blocking right now, but it's just this like really nice, airy, kind of like ethereal color and colorway. And I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with that yarn. Part of me is like, save it for spring because it's purple and it's like flowers. But at the new school that I'm at, the way that we organize our students is into houses. And so the house that I am like a staff member for is purple. And we have these color days where we wear purple to school or like whatever your house color is to school, but mine's purple. And I thought, how lovely would it be if I made myself a purple sweater that I could wear on these color days and kind of share my love of knitting and just use this yarn that I have, this purple yarn in stash. And so I was like, let me knit it this fall because then I have the whole year to wear my sweater, where I think this is a problem for a lot of knitters where we end up knitting things that we don't end up wearing in that current season. Like this t-shirt I knit last summer. The pattern is slipping my mind right now, but I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. And I felt like I got a little bit of wear out of it, but that I wanted to wear it for more time in the summer because then it was quickly fall by the time I finished this t-shirt. And so this purple sweater, I'm like, let's knit it. Let's have it be my mindless stockinette knit. I mean, there is a lot of half twisted rib in the Frankie genser, which I really, really love the look of half twisted rib. And I also don't mind the process of knitting it in the round. And so I think it's going to be a great sweater. It's going to use up some stash yarn. It's going to have utility for me for work so that I can have this beautiful hand knit garment that I can wear for every house event. And which I hope I do continue to work at the school, I'll have this house sweater that I can wear for years. And I do think like these purple colors can be quite pretty with the blonde and the blue eyes and everything like that. So that is the next plan that I have. And this is my like mindless stockinette TV project that I'll have on hand. Okay. The next project I will talk about is one that I'm really excited about. It is the raspberries in the mood board, and I'm going to be knitting the Maggie vest by Petite Knit. So this yarn is yarn that I purchased from this like online yarn store that was based out of, like, a woman in Kingston sold yarn out of her house, but she had it posted online. And so this is by the company Luette in like the Gems colorway, and it's 100% merino wool that is superwash. It says it's sport weight, but to me it knits up more like a DK. And I have 4 balls of it, and I bought it thinking like I will knit a vest with it, but I didn't necessarily know which one. Part of me wanted to do a cabled vest, but I wasn't fully sure. It's like super wash, and so I wasn't fully sure. Anyways, this Maggie vest came out, and I am such a sucker for a good vest. I honestly wear vests all the time to work. I love them with pants, with skirts. I love them as a vest where you have it, whatchamacallit, worn over top of like a long sleeve shirt or a blouse or a t-shirt. But I also love wearing a vest just on its own as its individual top. I like that the Maggie vest can be buttoned up, or well, it's a button-up vest, so you can wear it done up or open for different looks. And this like burgundy color is just, I mean, I feel like it's everyone's color right now, and that there's like a lot of like, it's like a trend color. But I kind of wanted to knit with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I already have yarn in stash. What could I use? I like this vest. Did a gauge swatch. Sorry for that airplane noise. Did a gauge swatch. It worked out. I was like, this is perfect. And so I actually have cast on the vest because I was just so excited to get it on my needles. And so I'm almost done the like back panel before I go and pick up for the front panels, and then I'll join in the round and knit the body. So another like mindless stockinette piece. This one I feel like is gonna finish so quickly just because there's no sleeves. And it's actually, no, it's not my first vest. I've knit the Lonely Leftovers vest, and I knit a sweater number 11 turned vest a couple years ago as well. But I think this is going to be super fun for fall. Part of me wanted a bit more of like a true burgundy, deeper color, but the fact that this leans kind of pink, I also really love, because I have this thing where every Wednesday I wear pink, because on Wednesdays we wear pink because of Mean Girls. And so having this hand knit vest that I can wear to school on Wednesdays, I think will be a lot of fun. And I think that I will get so much wear out of it, because the other thing that I like is that if I'm planning on wearing it as a top and not only like as a vest over top of a long sleeve shirt or a blouse or something, is that because it's superwash merino, it's like not scratchy whatsoever. And I don't tend to be sensitive to wool, but sometimes, you know, it can just get irritating, or at least this one is, the superwash just makes it a really easy experience on the skin. It'll be nice to throw it in the wash and wash it, because I do plan on wearing this a lot, and just the fact that I wear it as a top just might mean that it gets like more sweat than say a sweater that I'm just wearing as like a little, or a jacket that I'm wearing over top of other clothes. Will be like in direct contact with my skin. And so this is like the project that I am most excited for out of this list. I don't know, I like the color I'm vibing with. I like that it's just mindless stockinette. It's gone by really quickly, and I'm excited to like finish the body and then just have like the little armband ribs and the button band ribs to finish up. And then I guess the big thing, like the thing that I'll need to pick out is the buttons, so that I can get a nice little garment off of it. Part of me is just thinking go basic and get some like tortoiseshell buttons, but that is for a later me. Okay, so let's go to this project. So I don't know, at some point I bought this Lane magazine because it has a lot of patterns in it that I really love. But the pattern, I'm just trying to find it. The pattern that I want to knit is this hat. And this is the Puhuri hat. It's by Ronja Hakalehto, I want to say. And I haven't knit anything out of this magazine. I finished my first like booklet pattern with my Vienna blouse, which I'll talk about in my next podcast episode. It's like honestly one of my favorite pieces I've ever knit. And I really do like the booklet experience. I like this magazine, and I wanted to make sure that I had a project that I really loved. And so I wanted to do an all over colorwork sweater as well, but part of me was just like, I realistically don't think that's gonna happen. And so what could I do that's colorwork? And I was like, mittens, hat, and then I was just kind of flipping through this booklet actually this morning, and I was like, I think this hat is gonna be perfect. I love a knitted hat. I'm gonna be walking to and from work, and so having a cute little cozy hat I think will be really nice. The yarns that I have, there's like enough of it that if I wanted to knit matching mittens or other accessories, I could do so. And I'm gonna be doing a different color story than this, and the color story that kind of relates to like that little blue navy house with the white, as well as the ocean vibe a bit. But this is, again, this cohesive palette, that color palette that I've loved for a while. But I did cast it on because I wanted, I just wanted a little project that I could keep, and there's a lot of ribbing involved in this hat. And so I'm using Einband, I think, by like the Plot Lopi brand that I got from a local yarn store in Thunder Bay that was closing down called Olives and Bananas. And then I also purchased this one random ball of mohair for like $3 from that same shop. And at first I was like, oh, they're all, I didn't, apparently I was tired. I didn't like look at the pattern close enough, but it's like a fingering wool held with mohair. And so I was going through and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to use. And then was going through my mohairs because that was kind of the, I guess the limiting factor is that I have a lot of like sock yarn, fingering weight yarn, but I don't have that much mohair. And I have a couple of these like odd single skeins where I was like, okay, like where could I use this? Found this project. I have 6 balls of this Einband that I will likely knit a sweater with the rest of it. And again, get some mohair to hold, but it's like, I don't want to buy any more yarn right now. And so let's use these two together. I think the navy will be nice on my head. It'll go with a lot of the coats that I have. Like I have a navy trench coat, I have a camel trench coat. My like parka is this off-white color. And so I think it will be great. The accent colors that I'm using are like a cream. I bought this white. It's like an off-white it's like the Cascades 220 fingering. It was like $6 for 50 grams. Very affordable. Bought it wanting to swatch for a all over colorwork sweater by Sandnes Garn in one of their like Norwegian icons booklet. I then went back, thought I bought more of the same color, but I actually went with like a more browny off-white, which is totally fine. But I had this one random skein of this like cream color. And then I also bought this tin silk mohair by Sandnes Garn to knit like a little, I think it's called a lily collar. But the contrast colors in the hat use very little yarn. So I was like, why don't I just use this use some of this and then use the tin silk mohair, and then I'll knit the lily collar with the leftovers. But I just wanted like a nice little white accent color. And then these are two that don't necessarily match perfectly, but they're both leftovers from other projects that I thought would be perfect and held together. I think it'll be like just a nice coolie. Like this one's obviously more warm and tealy than this one that has a bit more gray. And I am going to use this. So my color story, let me just grab it all, is this, which I think will be really beautiful. And it's just, again, I want to do an all over navy and white colorwork cardigans, like with the little hat. I think it would be like a cute little outfit. I want to do some color work, and so the hat seemed a lot more manageable than an all over colorwork sweater that'll probably come in the winter because I do really want to knit one. It uses up some stash yarn and some like random little scraps for the little bit of the contrast colors, and so really pleased with that design. I'm really happy that I'm using one of the patterns from the Lane magazine. I know I really would also like to knit a few other patterns in here that I think are just absolutely stunning. I I think like this colorwork sweater is really beautiful. This cardigan is really beautiful, but again, I just don't have the time to do it this fall, and so those will come hopefully at a future point in time. The all over textured cabled cardigan that I'd like to knit and that I have swatched for is the Billie cardigan by Sari Nordlund. I finished my Iode sweater by Sari Nordlund and I've worn it a lot. I'm just so proud of that piece and I think it's so beautiful, and I bought this yarn, the Shelter, which is in this like really lovely like sagey green tweedy colorway. It's the colorway Foothills by Brooklyn Tweed, and I was just, this yarn, it just seems like the perfect yarn for cables. I actually did swatch with another yarn and it just got like, it was a llama based yarn, and just all of the texture of the cables got lost in that yarn. Or this one, all the textures just make it like jump and bounce, and it's just like, it's a really, really lovely yarn. Like, I get the hype over Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. It is so beautiful. And I got this yarn also on sale from Needles in the Hay, which is a local yarn shop in Peterborough, Ontario. And I just think it's just gonna make the most yummy, gorgeous cardigan. And I feel like for this yarn, I was like, I can't do anything stockinette. Like, I feel like the beauty of Shelter is just how it makes cables pop and go. I bought the Billie cardigan pattern like in the spring during a pattern sale. I loved that Iode sweater, and I was like, you know what, I want to knit this cardigan. Like those twins who knit that have, I believe one of them has made the cardigan. It just looks so beautiful. I really like this green color as well. And so this kind of relates to that like beautiful architectural, beautiful architectural building in my mood board, and that it's this beautiful structured, intense, textured cardigan that may or may not get done this fall, but that I want to have this long-term project that I, just like my Iode sweater, that when I finish, I'm just so proud of and just want to wear it all the time because it's so beautiful and the effort that went into it. And so my Shelter will be turning into the Billie cardigan, which I'm super excited for, but I'm gonna try to finish the Maggie vest and the Eva cardigan before I cast this one on officially, just to reduce the amount of cardigans and back and forth knitting that I have going on. So maybe once I finish the one cardigan, I will cast on, or like the one of the two projects, I'll cast this one on and begin working on it to get some of that textured knitting. But for right now, it's just gonna stay in swatch and concept mode, but I really would love to cast this on this fall. This is like my biggest maybe is this Billie cardigan, but I think that I need to cast it on and have this like long-term textured sweater that I need to use, knit companion, to keep track of where I'm at, so I don't constantly have to be like, read my stitches, where am I? But yeah, this is one that just, I mean, it's gorgeous. I can't get over it. And yeah, I think the Shelter was like 50% off or 40% off. So very excited to get to use it, but I was like saving it for something special. Okay, I have two more projects that you've seen before on this channel. So the first one is the Norma sweater by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this is like this yarn ad sponsored is from Hobby. It's for their Hobbies Summer Getaways project. And this is the beach getaways is what I want to do. And so you can see like the brown is the sand, and then you got like the blues for the ocean. And again, I do think this will be really lovely. I took the tips off the needles because I thought I needed them for my Iode sweater, but then I realized they are not the same size needles for the project, so I need to put those back on. And I just don't want to have 6 balls of yarn getting carried around with me, and so I need to just sit down and get through the color work section as I'm increasing for the yoke, and then split for sleeves. And I think this will move a little quicker, but it is one, I've started it. I'm like a solid away amount through that. I would just like to finish it. And this Norma sweater has been one that, like, even holding it up, I'm like, this is so beautiful. I just love it. That I want to finish it and have it to wear, because every time I look at that Norma sweater, I just love it so, so much. And so I do just want to finish this and have it in my wardrobe. And I think that the like non-complex color work of the Norma sweater combined with the stockinette stitch will make for a good, like, one step up from the Frankie sweater that I'll be knitting. And last but not least, another pattern from this booklet that I cast on last year, knit it really quickly, and then just like got overwhelmed with work and didn't end up finishing it. But it is the Amy Slipover. And this is a pattern that literally everyone that knits it is like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. It's amazing. And so I have the back panel done, which is exciting. I really love this yarn combo, and I'm excited because I actually have, if I like this one, I do have enough yarn to knit another one in a different color with a similar yarn composition. But this is knit in Lichen and Lace, which is a Canadian Nova Scotia based yarn dyer in their base rustic Heather Sport. It's 100% Canadian wool. It's in the colorway Smoke. And I'm holding it together with a Canadian hand-dyed yarn. This is Leo and Roxy in their silk mohair collection in the colorway Judith. So I'm holding both those together, and it's getting this super soft, relatively like thick, whatchamacallit, fabric, and I haven't blocked it yet, so I'm excited to see what happens when I do block it. You were supposed to do a sewn bind off. I just did a very loose bind off in pattern, and I like the cleanness and the crispness that it looks like. So I will be doing that for the other portions of the ribbed bind off, but I have the back panel, and so now I have to do the front panel and then do the edging, and the ties is what I have left. So I'm like a third of the way done this project, and it honestly didn't take me too long. I just need a knitter up. So this is one that I think it will be really lovely to have and just like be able to throw it on again, wear it probably only over top of other garments that are probably not knit, but it's one that I think it'll be nice to have it done and off my needles. And that means that this fall I have this sweater, this Frankie genser, and the Amy Slipover that are coming from this booklet, which makes me feel really good that my goal is to knit like at least 2 patterns from every booklet that I have. I mean, there's 2 patterns in every booklet that I would like to knit. This one, I honestly would love to knit almost every pattern in here. But for now, we're going to start with the Frankie genser for a good old basic raglan and the Amy Slipover. And hopefully I'll have both those done for this fall. But those are my fall knitting plans. I'm excited to have them come to life. I think I have a really good blend of projects, and I mean, at some point, like once my Eva cardigan is on the body and I've split for sleeves, I can then, and I finish the Maggie vest, it's like, hey, maybe I'll then cast on the Billie cardigan, so I have something that involves a bit more thought. And then once I finish the ribbing of my hat, I'll have like a few little sections of color work to do, which will be fun. I think it'll just be a good fall. I think that there's a good amount of new cast-ons, new skills, new techniques that I'm excited to do, but fitting them in a way that I can manage. Oh my gosh, I did forget one project. Where is that? One second. Oh, I forgot a project, and that is my Midnight Dancer Socks by Sari Nordlund. And I would like to knit these in this red color. This is the Heritage Sock, I believe, by Cascade. I used it to knit my little lobsters in my lobster socks, which I don't have full second sock syndrome, but I do need to finish this sock as well. But that's kind of more of like a long-standing summer project. So you may see a couple of other projects that I have had on this summer get done throughout the fall, but these are like the more true fall-y colors. But I'm really excited to knit like these little cute ruffle socks. I mean, they're not called ruffle socks, they're called Midnight Dancer, but they have the cute little ruffle around the cuff of the sock, and I think they're just going to be I don't know, I've been into like pops of red. I think they'll look super cute with my cardigan number 9. I got this cute little, thrifted this leather Italian red purse that I think these will look cute with, and I'm just excited to have my little pop of red to wear with like my loafers or my sneakers. So this is actually the last pattern. So yeah, there's 8 patterns, not 7. Heat. But yeah, now I am done talking, and thank you for listening. If you're here and you want to see what I actually wind up getting up to this fall, press subscribe so you can not miss out on any other videos. And until next time, I will see you, and happy knitting. Bye.